So I have a little fun, quick story for you guys today. During season 3, I don't know if any of you remember, but I posted something about having an emergency root canal. I couldn't post that we were filming, I don't think at the time, because we weren't sharing when we were filming back then. But anyways, so I just wanted to point out there are a few scenes on the show where I was actually in the most excruciating pain besides childbirth of my life. Apparently the tooth had cracked or chipped at some point. We don't know when. Years. Could have been something I bit into, tiny little crack, but over time that crack widened and widened and widened. It wasn't infected, but the root was dying. The nerve was dying. This is what the dentist told me. He said, "You were in so much pain, I think your nerve was probably dying." I was like, oh, no wonder. I was falling. I was having to take breaks, and sometimes I would be on my knees breathing at my chair. So anyways, the scene, so that morning when I woke up, I went to bed at 10 p.m. or no, 8 p.m. or something, and I put my head down and the throbbing started. So I took Motrin, I took Tylenol. It did not go away. I did not sleep that night. I had to go into work the next day, like 5, 6 a.m. or something stupid. And they got on the phone to the doctor. They got me, antibiotics just in case it was infected, which it turned out it was not infected. So all that desecration to my stomach for naught. And but I had to continue to work because if I didn't, that was what was on the schedule. They couldn't flip the days. So I'm at work, horrible pain. They get me Tylenol with codeine. I don't know if you've ever taken that, but it makes you pretty stony. The scene where I'm eating sushi, that was what I had to film that day. I mean, amongst a few other scenes. I had to eat sushi with a tooth that was broken. I mean, it wasn't like visibly broken, but it felt like it was broken. I mean, it was, as I had described to many people, it felt like I was giving birth out of my tooth because that's how much pain I was in. And I did give birth without the drugs the first time. So I know. So the scene where I'm eating sushi, what else do we shoot that day? I literally can't barely remember, but I remember having to be at work all day. The next day I had to go to work and we shot the scene. I think it was my first scene with Zibby where we were walking down the street and we meet up in Clear River and I'm buying clothes for. And from that day, there's actually a picture of me somewhere where I'm holding a rose in a water bottle. And the reason I'm holding a rose is because our Tad, who's the AD in training, his name was John. He wasn't on the show last year, but he was in the show the third year. He got me a rose because he felt bad for me. It was so sweet. Because every time in between takes, I would go back to the chair and I would be kneeling at my chair, like breathing like I was in labor. So finally that day, after work, I run to the dentist and they give me an emergency root canal. They actually gave me half a root canal just to get me through the weekend because that guy literally came in for me. From Monica Mitchell, she called her dentist and she was like, "Please help this poor girl."